since the UFC 300. And I'm still rocking a Justin Gaethje shirt. The man is still a BMF in my eyes. And today I wanted to talk about somebody who I believe is a true BMF. It's getting swept under the rug a little bit. And here I am, bringing it to light, bringing it back to light for some of you. Now, UFC 300 happened. Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje put on a performance for the ages, a BMF performance for the ages. And in the post-fight press conference, Dana White announces some brand new fights for UFC 302 and in particular UFC 303. And there's one man on that UFC 303 card, the man that is headlining it, the notorious Conor McGregor, is the person that I am talking about today. Now, when we're talking about BMFs, he gets swept under the rug a hell of a lot. And I think that probably just comes with being the biggest star in mixed martial arts history. It's pretty easy to shit on that person, I feel. And being as polarizing a figure as Conor, I feel like it's easy to not give him as much credit as he deserves. And in particular, I want to talk about why this man is a true BMF in every sense of the word. He is a bad man. Now, it stems back right from the get-go in regards to the fight that he took against Chad Mendes. Now, we're going way back when he had a UFC featherweight title fight lined up with then UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo, one of the greatest ever. And Jose pulls out, and there's a really, really great clip of Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta coming to Conor's house and telling him as soon as he wakes up, saying like, mate, the fight's off. And even at that time, this is before the Floyd Mayweather fight, before the millions of dollars, before Proper 12 whiskey, that Conor said, okay, like no dramas, just find me someone to fight. Just find me anyone to fight. And at that time, there were plenty of dangerous featherweights in that division. And honestly, none come more dangerous than Chad Mendes for Conor McGregor. That man is a fantastic wrestler. That man is an absolute dog in every sense of the word. And when they brought that for Conor, he's like, yep, sweet, let's do it. He hasn't been preparing for Chad Mendes. He's been preparing for Jose Aldo. And whilst Jose Aldo is regarded as a better mixed martial artist, preparing for one person is completely different to preparing for another person. And under absolutely no preparation, with everything to lose, he still took the fight. The man is a bad mother, you know what. And then, like, even then, we go to post 13-second KO against Jose Aldo, which again is one of the greatest knockouts in the history of the sport. We talk about Rafael dos Anjos pulling out of their lightweight title fight. No dramas. It's all good. Give me a fight. Give me anybody. Okay. We're going to give you Nate Diaz. And now, fair enough, at that point in time, fighting Nate Diaz is different caliber to fighting for a title, fighting against Rafael dos Anjos. But if people didn't think that Conor was a bad man before that, he goes, it's all good. I'm going up a weight class to lightweight, but I'm going to step it up a notch even more. I'm going to fight at 170 pounds, 2 weights higher than what he normally would. Now, if that is not a bad individual, I don't know what is. Yes, he went on to lose that fight against Nate Diaz, famously by sub in round 2. But he also took the rematch again at 170 pounds. Conor McGregor has always been somebody that has had a hell of a lot to lose. And in that rematch against Nate Diaz, he again had a hell of a lot to lose. His reputation he had to lose. Being the biggest star in the sport, being the biggest star of all time in the sport, with back-to-back losses to one man, disintegrates then and there. So he had it all to lose, again, going up 2 weight classes. You're getting my drift here. You honestly need a wheelbarrow to cart Conor McGregor's nutsack around. Seriously. The man's bred differently. I truly believe it. And obviously since then he's had some great success and whatever. But I want to talk about the Floyd Mayweather fight. I don't want to talk about the fight specifically, but the man made $100 million out of that. 100. And since then, Conor's had 4 fights in the UFC. He's had 1 fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov, Donald Cerrone, and 2 against Dustin Poirier. And that's since 2016, which is a long time. 4 fights, 8 years. Now, people are going to be quick to criticize and say, changed him forever. Yeah, it did. 100% changed him forever. Because when you're winning, when you've earned $100 million, obviously go from earning $2 million to earning $100 million, it's going to change your life drastically. And I can't help but think someone of that's going to let the ego get to them a little bit. Hell, I'd let it get to me. If I won a scratchy that was $10,000, mate, I'd be walking around going, cha-ching. But something did change in him, for sure. And the biggest thing that didn't change out of all that is he still wants to fight. He still always wanted to fight, even when he doesn't actually have to. Because since the Floyd Mayweather fight, he's gone on to other business ventures. The Proper 12 whiskey has obviously been a really, really big success. Obviously, opening up these new pubs in Ireland, Black Forge Inn, and bring some stouts and that sort of stuff. And I'm sure he's got a hell of a lot of other business ventures. His head has been outside, not just in the cage, but it's been out of the cage. And when you have that much money, when you have all those other business ventures, it's pretty easy to act. And, you know, it's also pretty easy just to throw it in, to throw in a towel and be like, I'm done with fighting. I'm good. I've been set up for life. I've got $100 million. Now I'm building off of that $100 million and I'm turning it into $1 billion. It is pretty easy to throw in the towel. I am positive that 99.9% of people in the world, including all of these fighters in the UFC, would have ended their career by now. But this is where Conor McGregor is special. And this is where I think enough credit for being a bad motherfucker. And that is exactly because now that this fight has also booked UFC 303 against Michael Chandler, International Fight Week, it has been booked 3 years since his fight against Dustin Poirier. 3 years since that infamous leg break. Now, 3 years off for anybody is enough of an excuse to go, I am done. Like, I think 3 years is too long. I've achieved a lot in the sport. I'm a 2-weight world champion. I'm the biggest star in the history of the sport. You know, 3 years is a long time to just go, you know what, I'm probably not going to come back and be at my best. And I don't want to I don't want to jeopardize anymore. I don't want to jeopardize my body and that sort of thing. And then on top of that, there is the squillions and squillions of dollars that Conor has made. When you've made $1 billion, what's an extra 15, 20 million? It's peanuts. Which is why Conor McGregor is a bad motherfucker. Because that man simply wants to fight. It is instilled in him. He simply wants to fight. He simply wants to prove to himself that he's still got it. He also wants to prove to the world he's still got it. And whilst the biggest star in the history of the inspirational superstar is still here, we should be, rather than trying to put him down, or some of us that are putting him down, we should be standing up and applauding, because he also, like Justin Gaethje, I said a couple of weeks ago, is a dime a dozen. Conor McGregor absolutely is a dime a dozen. To $1 billion in the bank, has done everything there possibly could do in the sport. And he's coming back after 3 years off and such a horrific injury. The man has kahunas for days. Absolute kahunas. I don't know if a wheelbarrow could actually do his kahunas justice, what I just touched on earlier. But I'm really sitting back now and just really admiring the level of badassery and level of self-determination and wanting to prove to yourself and the world that you can do something. Still don't think that you can do it, because a lot of people are writing him off here. A hell of a lot of people. You can't come back after a leg break to fight somebody of the caliber of Michael Chandler, somebody as ferocious as Michael Chandler, after 3 years off and get a win. I don't think Conor's reputation is completely on the line here because of how long he's actually had off. But nonetheless, the man's proving that he is an absolute BMF. He's BMF of BMFs. And I've talked up Max Holloway a hell of a lot in the last couple of years. But Conor could actually be the baddest of them all, because he doesn't have to do this, but he's doing it. And whilst he's here, if you're not here celebrating the man and welcoming him back with open arms, you're going to really, really miss him once he's gone. So UFC 303, as UFC fans, he's brought the sport to what it is today. We need to be opening our arms to this bloke and just applauding the badassery and just fucking loving it, because that is exactly what he is. He's a bad man. I said in a previous podcast, book that shit. If he beats Michael Chandler at UFC 303, we could get the baddest BMF title of all time. One that will never, ever be topped. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway for the BMF title, Madison Square Garden. You need to book that shit if Conor gets through Michael Chandler. Make no mistake, Conor McGregor is a BMF, always was a BMF, and he's proving to you right now in front of our very eyes that he still is a BMF. I wanted to get on today and talk about that. I wanted to talk about the man. Whenever Conor's here and there's a bit of a build up towards a Conor McGregor fight week and a fight, it's always very exciting stuff, and it's always a great chance to get on and talk about one of the absolute legends of the sport. And I just really needed to get that out today. And I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. There's going to be plenty more content, especially leading up to UFC 303. Again, if you like what you see, feel free to comment, feel free to like, feel free to share. Do whatever you guys have got to do, because this train is going to keep on rolling. And until next time.